So the Denver Broncos had a bit of a surprising year in 2024, at least surprising in terms of what the general public thought this team would do, but Bo Nix balled out and really showed traits of someone beyond his years, leading Denver to a 10-7 record and a playoff appearance after just 1 year of the so-called Bo Nix / new beginning era. And the most impressive thing was how much Denver lacked in areas like running the football, and that is why I think with just a few moves this offseason, we really could be looking at a team on the verge of contention. That's right. If the Broncos can make some moves to free up a little bit of cap space and then sign the right guys, this is a team that all of a sudden could make that leap. And I want to talk all about it. But first, before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. So coming into this offseason, the Broncos currently stand right in the middle of the pack at number 16 of 32 teams in terms of cap space. They have $34.7 million, which when you think about it, really is not too shabby, considering just a year ago, they were getting off one of the biggest contracts ever with Russell Wilson. But there still, like I said, is an opportunity to free up more cap space, and if the Broncos can do something like the Eagles did, obviously you're not just going to go out there and get Saquon Barkley, but if they can take the Eagles' approach and retain the good talent they have and then add to it, that's how we could see Denver playing next January and February. So in terms of free agent targets, the one name that instantly stands out to me is Deebo Samuel, who has already said good things about Bo Nix and Sean Payton. He said word for word, I can say Denver, Bo Nix is playing really good ball right now. Their defense is outrageous. You got Pat Surtain out there, who I can say is the best at the position right now. And then he said, just think you need a couple more pieces. And he definitely meant himself when he said that, no question about it. Deebo Samuel is kind of in a sticky situation with the 49ers right now. They probably should have traded him earlier, because now if the Niners can't line up a trade, they are probably going to have to just release him for nothing. And I'm not going to go off the wall saying that Deebo Samuel would fix everything for the Broncos, because he is approaching age 30, but he does possess a multitude of skill sets, and really, he is just a playmaker that makes plays no matter how you get the ball in his hands. He can even turn into a running back on jet sweeps, which, like I said, running the ball is something that Denver is desperately trying to improve at. If you remember back to 2021, Deebo had that one crazy season where he had over 1,400 yards, but outside of that, he kind of has been a one-season wonder. But I think he easily would be able to come in and put up over 700 yards as a receiver too, or something like that. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Another chance the Broncos have to get a great weapon is through the draft. And I know instantly everyone thinks about Ashton Jeanty, but honestly, I'm thinking about somebody different. I'm not sure if he will be available by the time the Broncos are up, but if he is, Tyler Warren is an absolute dog from Penn State. And I think he is a future top 3 tight end in the league. He has all the tools like guys like Kelsey, Brock Bowers, and even like Darren Wallen from a few years ago have, and he carried the Nittany Lions' offensive production. Opposing defenses in college knew the ball was going to go his way majority of the time, but he still was just so dominant. A move like this would probably require the Broncos to trade up, but I definitely think it would be worthwhile to do so. And let me just make up a scenario. Imagine if the Broncos do trade up and they do get Tyler Warren, who will be on a cheap rookie contract, and then they shop a running back in free agency or trade for one. Because the reality of the current landscape of the NFL is that running backs are not that hard to get anymore. And the one guy that I think is kind of under the radar is Rico Dowdle, who rushed for 1,079 yards for the Cowboys' horrific offense in 2024. Or they could spend and go out and get Aaron Jones or J.K. Dobbins. So imagine you add Warren and one of those backs to the offense, and then they would still have Courtland Sutton, Devon Vele, and Marvin Mims, who is just the ultimate deep threat. All of a sudden, this would be a squad, especially because of how good the offensive line is, coming in at the number 2 ranking in the entire NFL, according to PFF. So I already went over who I want in the first round with pick number 20, but if Warren is not available, I actually would be fine with the Broncos going to defense to add to what they already have, because I really like Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. He could be the best player available, and an interior defensive lineman is an underrated need for the Broncos. Denver is poised to lose DJ Jones in free agency and has John Franklin Myers, Zach Allen, and Malcolm Roach all entering a contract year. The Broncos also need to upgrade over Jordan Jackson with someone who can cut down on Allen's snap count, which isn't sustainable. And then moving on to the second round and pick 51, I think this is the perfect opportunity to take a running back. And I would do this no matter what happens in free agency. I think Travion Henderson from the Ohio State University would be a great selection. He's explosive, he's a great guy, he would fit great in the locker room right away, and as a Buckeyes fan, I have got to watch a heavy amount of him, and he's great at staying patient and finding the holes created through the O-line, and he's also really good with screens out in space, as we saw him take one to the house against Texas in the semifinals right before halftime, which really deflated all the energy the Longhorns had. Henderson still rushed for over 1,000 yards with 10 touchdowns while splitting carries with Quinshon Judkins, which is pretty impressive, especially considering how the Buckeyes O-line struggled for the early part of the regular season. But if the Broncos draft him and put him behind their O-line, I think he will thrive from the jump. Anyways, moving on to the third round, I have Mason Taylor, a tight end from LSU. This is obviously a pick the Broncos would make if they did not land Warren, and Taylor is a quality receiver and blocker with the athleticism to offer up much more. Not to mention, he has excellent NFL bloodlines, with his father being Hall of Fame pass rusher Jason Taylor and his uncle being Hall of Fame linebacker Zach Thomas. Taylor may not have a significant impact as a rookie, but he still has the traits to contribute and improve upon what the Broncos had in 2024. He fits what Sean Payton wants to do offensively and can be moved around the formation to create mismatches. And then in the fourth round, I like Cody Lindenberg, a linebacker from Minnesota. Playing next to Alex Singleton could help cover some of Lindenberg's lateral issues while giving the Broncos an upgrade over Cody Barton. Lindenberg has good ability as a blitzer, and everything combined makes him a fit for what Vance Joseph does defensively. Lindenberg is a great athlete and was a two-way player in high school, so that's kind of the deal with him. And then the rest of the draft, maybe the Broncos could get lucky and find a diamond in the rough, but it's almost impossible to predict and break down those late round picks. But overall, the Broncos really are close to breaking through and becoming a contender. They just need to get this offseason right, and it truly is impressive that they are in this position, because most teams would not have found a way to push through the Russell Wilson situation. That's really all I have to say for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see the Denver Broncos do over the course of the next few months and in the draft. And if you made it to this point and enjoyed, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you'd like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.